Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen news and updates. We've had a load of information from CIG about their plans for a 3.8.x set of patches, Alpha 3.9 for Q1 2020, and features of 2020 in general. Star Citizen Alpha 3.8.1 is the next patch, and it will contain various hotfixes and quality of life improvements. Beyond this, CIG do want to focus more on 3.9 and 4.0. They don't want to have people constantly working on 3.8.x. They are aware of major bugs like desync, which they are trying to fix for now. They are planning to have the features locked in for the 3.9 build of the game by mid-February, which is much sooner than they've previously done for previous patches. They want to focus on the new patch and making sure it's up to spec rather than dedicating lots and lots of time on 3.8.x patches. That said, I believe that they're still releasing the Cutlass Red in January, the Carrack in February, and the Prowler in March as part of 3.8's branch. And obviously we've got the 3.9 branch planned to be going live at the end of March. They will aggressively cull features for the patches now, though, if they don't meet deadlines, pushing them to minor or major patches based on the feature in question. Some of the bugs, like the ship duplication bug, require more investigation, and we will see a roadmap update next week. Server-side object container streaming is not complete as a feature yet. It's still being dialed in and improved. There was not as much improvement as CIG wanted in the current iteration of server-side object container streaming. They're going to be updating this from patch to patch. AI has certainly seen improvements with its implementation. However, servers still degrade over time. Expect to see more improvements by 3.9's launch. There are various features for server-side object container streaming that are not ready yet or that CIG are currently building. These will increase performance, stability, and potentially server player cap. They are still experiencing a lot of issues that they want to fix as well. They recently tested additional amounts of players on servers with 60 players on servers rather than just 50. But server-side object container streaming in general is a huge milestone tech-wise for them to hit. 30k errors are server or client disconnections of some kind. It's the error code for that. They're not a specific problem. They're sort of like more of a range of problems that error code covers, and that's there to give you an indication of what you disconnected or crashed for or whatever. Even after platform persistence is added in-game, there are still going to be resets and wipes. If there are exploits or Alpha UBC is being earned not as intended, or there's bits that CIG want to test, or they're updating the database way they do stuff, they will wipe. But platform persistence that's coming in 3.8 at some point will allow them to choose when to wipe or not. So they can save the data across between servers and between major updates. We should see better economic balance and longer-term pricing balance because of this form of persistence. It allows them to get a lot more data, and from that they can improve the pricing. Even currently, they're reviewing 3.8 data to help them balance the game for 3.9. This process is done manually at the moment, but they will be moving on to sort of like doing it via a dynamic economy and quantum model in the future, so the game will automatically do it based on economic inputs from around the verse. The iCache, the item cache, and improvements to persistence and server-side object container streaming will allow them to expand cargo features. The iCache is scheduled for 4.0, 4.1 for at least CIG's use internally, so we could start seeing it after Q2 2020. They want to have larger cargo boxes and ways to move them. They're also looking at interruptions and disconnections that happen during, well, general gameplay, but also cargo transporting. You don't want to lose your cargo from just a disconnect and you lost 2 million in cargo. They want ways to recover from that sort of thing. They want the functionality of external apps and tools as in-game as possible. So you don't have to go out of game to use hardpoint.io. They want all of that functionality in-game, and the same with sort of like trade. They want all that trade information in-game. The star map will be able to show you better trading opportunities and information about the verse. There will be other forms of cargo and missions too. Volatile cargo that needs to be delivered in a certain amount of time, or there might be a cargo that gets spoiled or explode, or if it takes too much damage, gets its value reduced. The more your ship gets damaged, or the more that cargo gets beaten around. There will be the ability to loot players and NPCs, and then sell that gear or use that gear in the future as well. UEC transfers, so wallet-to-wallet transactions, I suppose. They will be part of the Mobiglass and the Contract Manager in the future, and the Mobiglass is going to be getting more focus once the visor rework is complete. There are teams that specifically look at gameplay experience, as well as like combat and flight models, and they try to improve those aspects of the game, both in short and long-term sort of like cycles. They will be balancing and improving auto gimbals, general combat, and more from patch to patch, so that things like fixed weapons will have their place in game, and they will be important. Items and gear and loadouts will all be incredibly important in the future. They're considering final balance and ways to make this feel fun as they go along with the game, but they are aware that balancing certain bits is just going to be done manually a lot and constantly with each new patch release, at least in the short term. Turrets are a focus for them to improve as well. Desync is causing a lot of issues with this, and general gameplay at the moment, desync's really causing a lot of problems for the game. They're working on that. In the future, we will be able to compare components and items for ships in-game. Some components wildly vary from each other even now, and currently the best way to see those differences is via external tools. So hardpoint.io, Urkel, Games Tool, the Human Germs, database stuff. I've made a video on all of that stuff. I'll link down below. Alpha 3.9 will also see many improvements to mining gameplay. They are looking at asteroid clusters and belts like the Aaron Halo as well. They are aware that mining pays relatively low in 3.8.0, and it's certainly not where they want it to be yet. They will be adding more asteroids, rocks, nodes, and minables in 3.9, it seems. There are going to be other places to sell your ore in the future, so dedicated terminals, but also they're going to have refineries that you can use to add value to your ore and potentially just sell your ore directly to there, but you'll be able to make your gold ore into, I don't know, gold bars or refined gold or something. They are going to be adding some more meat to the bounty hunting and delivery mission gameplay. They have lowered bounties as they thought they paid out too much in the most recent patch. This is subject to future balance as well. Obviously, they're going to be looking at bounty hunting in a lot of detail. 3.9 will see outposts and vehicle spawn locations and missions hooked up to Planet Microtech, so lots more to do there. Obviously, we've got the internals of New Babbage as well, so we'll be able to go there. There might be mission givers, lots more stuff to do. They are continuing to review quantum travel times and drives as well. They are planning to add a store button to the ASOP terminals so you can quickly store your ship, so you can modify it or transfer cargo quicker and safer. They want spawning vehicles and ships in their parent ship in-game as soon as possible, and we should see that this year. That's not going to be necessarily ship-to-ship docking or anything like that, but that will be the ability to have an as a rover spawned in your constellation when it spawns. They will look at weather and low visibility flying in the future and see if any additional mechanics are needed to improve that gameplay. Habs are currently not persistent, so you can't re-enter them at the moment. Hopefully they'll fix that again in the future. They don't have windows currently in individual hab rooms either for performance purposes. This could change in the future again. Calling All Devs is coming back as a fortnightly alternative, sort of alternating with Star Citizen Live. However, the name, format, length, all that sort of stuff is all potentially being changed. RSI subscribers this month have access to the Dragonfly. Quite a disappointing ship to have access to, seeing it's so cheap to rent or buy in the game. And next week we will see an update to the roadmap as well. Very much looking forward to that. Not sure if it's going to be a big update or just like a minor or a small one or something, but it should be some form of update and something we can talk about. The sneak peek this week from the newsletter was a beauty shot of New Babbage on Microtech. We should be seeing the internals, as I said earlier, in 3.9 of that city and be able to move around it in some sort of form. And that's it for this week's news and updates. I'm looking forward to some of the fixes for 3.8, as it's got a ton of cool stuff in 3.8, but there are some annoying bugs that just ruin my fun, especially desync, when I'm trying to play multiplayer anyway. But what do you think? Have you been playing Alpha 3.8.0 and are you waiting till the next patch before you continue playing? What are you excited for in 2020? Anything that you think might be released in 2020 that you're like, oh, yes, amazing features? Whatever your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Every month we have a ship giveaway for January 2020. It's for an Anvil Arrow and Star Citizen game package. Just comment on any of my videos made this month to be in for a chance. More details in the description below. Oh, it's time to shill. If you're looking for a VPN, then consider NordVPN. They have many advantages over free VPNs, but are incredibly cheap, and I use them and can recommend. There's Shadow as well, which is an alternative to owning your own gaming PC. They give you a sort of Windows 10 environment focused on gaming, and it leverages the power of your internet and their cloud so that you can stream it to any device or other PC or laptop or phone or whatever. And you can now order systems with varying scales of hardware for up to 4K gaming. And as always, it works fantastically well with Star Citizen. It's an extremely affordable way to get access to a high-spec PC. Links below to Shadow and Nord, and make sure you use the code BoredGamer to get a discount. Thank you very much for watching, and if you want to support my channel further, consider becoming a Patreon or YouTube member via the join button, or sharing my videos, or liking and subscribing. Take care, and I'll see you in the verse.